Run free and dive into the sky. Hear the wind crying out its prayer. Why are we so ashamed to be alive? Break the chains and our freedom's ours to take. Look behind your back. Chase a light when the world is getting darker. I have a dream where love's the only side. So take my hand, join the army of the shadows. Going harder, we are more than numbers. Standing in this shade, going louder. We are all one color, standing in their way. Join the army of the shadows. Join the army of the shadows. Join the army of the shadows. Shadows, shadows. Join the army of the shadows. Join the army of the shadows. Going harder. We are more than numbers. Standing in their shade. Going louder. We are all one color. Standing in their way.
All right. How's everybody doing tonight on this Wednesday, January 26, 2025? It is currently 7:11 Central Time. Hope everybody's doing okay. I decided to change the topic tonight because if you've ever done any kind of research on the zodiac, man, it's difficult. It's something that needs a lot of time to research, and I just don't have that kind of time right now. So I'll eventually get there. But I wanted to go back in time, and I wanted to listen to some of the things that I said in this video that I made very early on. There's a lot of drama going on in these YouTube streets for reals. Let me change the background because that's going to bug the hell out of me. Maybe that's a little more calmer. Yeah, there's a lot of drama going on these YouTube streets for reals. Man, a lot of stuff going on. But tonight we're not going to deal with any of that. I'm going to play this video and I'm going to talk about it. And we'll see where it takes us. Not a lot of people in chat tonight. I don't know where they're hanging out. Probably hanging out somewhere else, which is okay. And here we go. a rubber tub and you strip down.
Okay, hold on.
So let's talk about it. First of all, I was on a panel last night and they were discussing a situation that another creator had discussed as far as, like when you finish surfing, you get out, you jump into a rubber tub and you strip down. That got me to thinking that if the individual that did this came out of the house, stripped down, had a wetsuit on, and then threw everything in the trunk and took off, as they say, um, or what is stated in the PCA. This is an interesting theory because not only would he have everything covered up, the mesh on the bodysuit or the wetsuit would allow any DNA or skin cell to be dropped in the car. But I don't want to get into that aspect of it as much because I'm not a DNA specialist or anything of that nature. So I'm just strictly.
I mean, I thought that angle very, very back then was a good possibility. It was a good theory. It could have been a wetsuit, could have stripped down, put everything in a rubber tub, and moved about your business. But as we learn later on, the individual was clad in black, so whatever that means. There's been a lot of individuals that have trouble with the English language for whatever reason. They don't believe that clad in black is actually a term, or not a term that a 20-year-old would use, right? I mean, how do we know what Dylan says? What Dylan would or DM? Let me backtrack there for a second. What DM would say in her dreamy state? You know what I mean? Because that's another thing that's been kind of gone after is her testimony, which nobody has heard, nobody has seen, but only heard the defense attorney talk about it. So therefore, it must be true, all of it. I don't doubt that. But like the prosecution said, she stuck to her story 3 times. She didn't waver her story about what she saw. She was just saying that she didn't really recall a lot. Everything that was said in that hearing the other day was taken out of context. It really was. I could tell you that, I just woke up, so therefore I'm all groggy and I really don't know what's going on, but I think I heard a dog bark. Did I really hear a dog bark, or was it something that I was dreaming and there was a dog in my dream, Yeah, they just keep repeating that statement. And that's okay. That's okay. I don't know. I mean, I've read so much today that, it's just interesting to me how people can formulate, how people can formulate different things out of what's said. I mean, we have people attacking family members. We have people just quoting things out of context. And at the end of quoting them saying, well, that just doesn't really make sense to me. So that putting that out there is just putting doubt in whoever's watching you. Because if they're loyal to you, they're going to be like, that's right. That don't make sense to me either. If they're not an independent thinker. And let's be honest. There's a lot of people in these chat that are not independent thinkers. There's some creators that are not some independent thinkers. There's some people that just regurgitate the same thing over and over and over, hoping to catch a new audience on this cycle of the recycling of the IDAHO4 case. That's not what I'm doing tonight. I wanted to see what I had to say very early on
because I do remember, and this is the video that I said about her not being able to identify the person, what they said in the courtroom. Hold on, let's go ahead. Just brainstorming here. I've been watching two relative cases that were in the past. One of them was the Gainesville Ripper, and the other one that I watched yesterday was a little bit about Ted Bundy. Well, the similarities in this case that I noticed were obviously the knife attacks. They were done, on opportunities to be able to take out the victims. But one thing that I noticed on the Gainesville Ripper is he would put gray tape over their mouths. And then he would essay them and then roll them over and stab them. And then position them in provocative ways. None of that was stated in this case as far as essay. But the thing about nothing was heard. There was no screams that were heard or anything of that nature. All that was heard was crying. And I think she said in the PCA, dog barking. Okay, what we were told in the hearing was that she heard somebody whimpering in the bathroom. She heard one of the victims run up the stairs and then run down the stairs. Have people ever wondered if that could have been Ethan running up the stairs and then running down the stairs? Could then I have possibly said, "Hey, it sounds like something's going on upstairs. Why don't you go check it out?" He goes up the stairs, sees what he sees. The killer sees him, is interrupted, starts chasing him down the stairs, attacks him, and bam, here we have the collateral damage. Okay. PKC says, I think it was Xana. Can you give me a reason behind why you think that? Not saying that you're wrong, not even debating it one bit. I just want to know a little further on what your realm of thinking is on that. Sometimes if I second floor bathroom is being here, someone might run up the third floor bathroom. But why would they run up the third floor though? Not sure how to answer that. Nina prepping for a colonoscopy. What? Hello, Frank. Nina's prepping for a colonoscopy? Oh, I guess I missed that. I was supposed to have one of those myself. And I bailed on that shit. She was not found in the bed, I think. He chased her down. Okay. That makes sense. I mean, I just wanted to know what your thought pattern was behind that. I don't think any of it is factual. I'm not saying she's twisting the truth, but I mean, how can you say this is, like when you're in a hearing and you're saying, well, I gotta take this sentence and I gotta revamp it in a way where it's saying the same thing that it says factually, but yet placing doubt at the same time. You get what I'm saying? Hello, Infinity. Yeah, come on up. I'm just going over what I'm talking about in this past live I did when I first started. So let's continue on. Let's listen to 12. And whimpering maybe. But can you imagine if there was gray tape that was placed over a person's mouth as the crime was unfolding, and then after it happened, take the gray tape off, stick it in your Dickies suit or whatever you're wearing,
What?
and then take off onto the next. And I'm not trying to be so nonchalant about the way I speak. I'm just I'm used to being very blunt and very to the point. So please don't take my method of speaking as being callous or uncaring. I'm just not having my emotional attachment to it right now, even though I do recognize that this is a very heinous and very disturbing case to say the least. Now on to Ted Bundy. While I was watching his documentary on YouTube, um, one thing stuck out to me. You know, when he was at, they called it a beach, but it was kind of like a lakefront where he picked up one of his victims.
Are you calling me a beach?
Made a statement about he got into his Volkswagen Beetle and drove off. And someone took a picture of his Volkswagen Beetle, but the license plate was too blurred to really identify it.
Let's put your hand together for Frank.
Ooh,
Hello, buddy. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing good, my man. What about you?
Oh man, just woke up from a nap. Like I said, I thought I heard a dog barking. I mean, that was like
You
what
thought
the
you heard a dog barking.
So I don't know, man. I don't know if it was real. I don't know if it was while I was in a frozen shock phase while I was sleeping. I don't know.
Do you see anyone clad in black?
No, those would have been the shadow monsters. You know that.
I don't know, man. Just checking. Could be your mental health. I don't know. Maybe you were drunk.
No, I don't really drink anymore. But what do you think
Think about that when they were saying that in the hearing. Do you have any comment on that? Like, you know,
they made her sound like she was an idiot. Like once again, they threw her under the bus in the PCA, in my opinion, and they threw her under the bus in the hearing. I wouldn't want to testify either, bro.
Like, explain it to me. What do you think that they would throw her under the bus? Because that's what a PCA is all about, right? It should be truthful, and if that is truthful, what she actually said, then yeah, that is what she said. I mean, she's a 20-year-old. She can forget stuff, and yeah, that's kind of it. It's total normal reaction, if you ask me.
Okay. I mean, the reason that I say that is the fact that she's the only one that really had anything significant to say. Like Bethany really didn't have anything to say. So it was almost like, let's put all the focus on Dylan.
Does it even matter though? I mean, what she saw, what she didn't see. I mean, there's evidence that points to Koberger anyways, even without that.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So I mean, in the hearing, do you think that, and the way she was describing her interrogations, do you think that she was being fair to DM?
Of course, she's not going to be fair because it's questionable.
Right.
So yeah, that is good on Ann Taylor's part.
Mm-hmm.
Because yeah, what did she see? A guy with bushy eyebrows. Could be literally everyone.
Right.
For all we know,
could be that guy on the screen right there.
Yeah, exactly. For all we know, he dyed his whatchamacallit? His eyebrow was black.
Hey, I always said, and I think I said in this video, I would have shaved my shit off. Like if that's the only thing you're gonna be able to see, I would have shaved my shit off. Like you wouldn't have been able to see no eyebrows, bro. Like, but
you know, that was my argument the last time. Sorry, I didn't want to go over you.
You're fine.
That is kind of what I question as well. I mean, there's only things in the PCA and it's probable cause, right? So it's not literally everything, any investigative methods that they use or every investigative method that they used, because it would be really evident by the defense, right? See, now that they have that, I wonder what she saw more, because her window was right where Brian allegedly parked, right?
Right.
So maybe she saw more. I don't know. You know,
I
I'm
don't
always
know.
curious as shit. If some, I also live in apartments with roommates. If something goes up, I always walk to my window to see what's up.
Well, of course, I would think that that's natural instinct. Is like if you hear something outside or you see somebody slam the door or you hear somebody slam the door, you're gonna look out to see were they coming in or were they leaving,
Exactly.
right? You know, so
I mean, when he comes in, I mean, that could literally be everyone, right? Or anyone. She could have thought that it was Kaylee, maybe.
I mean, I'm just kind of curious where her bed was in that room, if it was closer to the staircase or if it was far on the other side, because I mean, that could explain not really knowing where the sound was coming from if she's further away from the door. If she's up against the wall let me take this guy off. We're having a good conversation here. If she's right there by the staircase, then that would
We can
be
check.
able, she
Hold
would be
on.
able to you have that to pull
No,
up?
I sent you something in chat. That is the website.
Okay.
Then
Because
the room is still empty.
I
Empty,
can't
but
click links. I can't click links in the normal one. I think I can here. Okay, yeah, I can do it on the private chat. Cool. Yeah, because on the normal one, people are sending me stuff. I can't click on it. Okay.
hey, Leslie, good to see you too.
Yeah, good to see you, Leslie.
There we go.
See, I was thinking, I wonder where her bed was located. If it was located against this wall, if it was located back here, or on this wall.
That was
Because
a
I
good
think
question.
they have shown photos of her standing in this doorway or something, and there wasn't a bed here. But that's not to say the bed was not there on the night of the crime.
You have photos as well that you can click. Bedroom 2A. If you, oh no, that can be the Zillow one. Hold on. Let me check.
DM stated she originally went.
Okay. The hell was that?
Oh, that's when it's dark. It's pretty crafty how they did that. Let's see.
Let me turn the lights back on. I don't know what the hell I did there.
Thank you. Now I have that song in my head. Turn that light on for you.
Yeah. Okay, so there's another photo right here.
I'm pretty sure there's like a bunch of videos. Oh, is that it? No, that's not it. There's like a bunch of TikTok videos because people are not creepy at all. They know everything apparently.
Yeah. So here would maybe be the view. So this is October 16th, 2022. So there was plants and shit allegedly in that window.
Yeah.
Okay, so could she? Hey, if I was gonna try to take a peek at whoever was coming in, there was the patio was lit up. I would be hiding behind these plants. He couldn't see me. I mean, I don't know.
That is what is interesting about it because I think she
Yeah,
saw more. That would be logical for anybody that's really curious, right?
I've always thought that too, bro. I've always thought that. Like, how could she not have seen more? Because here's the route of entry, as they speculate. Right by this tree line into the back. That just What the chat saying? Are they saying anything different?
Let's see.
Here's one. DM was in DF room 2 all the house that night.
But not at the moment. I mean, I don't know what they did the rest of the night. I mean, to be honest, I don't really care about that. But I guess it was before then. It could be feasible. I don't know what they did.
I mean, I just think it's kind of interesting that, you know, what would she hear if her bed was on this side of the room? Could she? I mean, none of us have been in the house, and the only
Well, let me tell you something. A brother from another mother. I had a co-host, Heather. She now lives in Oregon, but she actually went to a couple of parties in Idaho. She actually partied in this house
okay,
and the one next to it, the one where the light bulb camera was. But that was way back. That is when the layout was way different. But what she told me is that is extremely eerie.
you can hear a lot.
Yeah.
So it's one of those cheaply built homes.
And I think there's other testimony out there as well. Oh, okay. Let me recant that from people that say that it is extremely loud. I'm not sure if Ann Taylor said that or not.
Yeah. So she was right here. I mean, I don't see why she wouldn't be able to hear everything that was going on above her. I mean, if anything, it probably would have sounded like somebody having sex or something up there. You know what I mean?
I mean, see all those vents. I mean, that already is it doesn't cancel out noise.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about it, 12. I mean, there's already blood seeping out of the wall from inside to the outside. Imagine how like the interior construction is.
Right.
And be good.
See, I mean, theoretically, Maddie's bed was right here.
That's right.
Against this wall. So if her bed was right here against this wall, or even the back wall, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
She would have heard footsteps at least. I mean, because I've lived downstairs, and you hear everything. You hear every little creak, everything. You know, like that's the thing I do know.
Well, you can go up the stairs and see how. I don't know. Maybe there's something revealing there. And go look with you.
Well, let's look at the stairs. We might see a bloody handprint, bro.
That is what people say now, right?
How do we even know this is the damn hand railing? People have attached themselves to this hand railing for whatever damn reason. Said there's arrows pointed at this hand railing, all kinds of stuff, right? How the hell do they know it was that hand railing versus this hand railing or this hand railing?
Magic, my man. Tarot cards, mediums.
Seriously, I mean, people have like attached themselves to this hand railing right here. This is the hand railing that had the blood on it, the bloody handprint. I was thinking, well, there's two more hand railings.
An unknown DNA blood sample. That was said. But what 12 gauge is making fun about is that people claim that, and it's not true. Obviously, there was a blood sample found, but it can mean anything. It could be degraded DNA, so not usable for STR. And maybe they did use it, but already found it sufficed because Brian Koberger was found.
Yeah, there's a vent right there, like you said.
That's directly underneath, isn't it?
Yeah. It just, I mean, the floor, well, is it really? It's hard to tell how much the room, let's see. This is the stairs, so yeah, it would be right. This is the back
right underneath. And then the bathroom would also. Oh, so she heard somebody cry In that bathroom. That makes sense.
Yeah. Whimpering in the bathroom.
Yeah. Oh.
And everybody's saying that the bathroom is the one on the second floor.
Wouldn't make more sense if it's this one. Well, I guess it doesn't matter. I mean,
the second floor one's huge. That bathroom's huge. It had like a washer and dryer in it, walk-in shower, big old. It
like,
could
that's kind of
echo.
yeah, sure. But this is also upstairs, so if she already hears one, especially if that door is open, I mean, sound travels. It can bend corners. So
See, I always figured after a while that these doors were open, even before they said that in the hearing. And I'm not trying to take credit for that,
yeah.
but I have said that in previous videos because I thought, if the dog was running back and forth, why wouldn't they leave their doors open if that dog, frequents both rooms?
hmm
There's a picture right here that shows. Well, I don't know if it's this one, but she had like a curtain rod right here with
Yeah.
with like curtains over her. A lot of people have talked about that dog, because we talked about it more than once, and they said, well, that dog might have ran over there in the closet area and hid out.
I heard some lady talk about which is freaking weird, that the dog was supposed to be in the kennel, and that kennel was located in the brand new freaking Range Rover that Kaylee drove. I'm like, where do people get this shit from? Because so I told her in the PCA it says that body cam footage observed that dog there, and then Dylan her statement says that she also could hear a dog. Then that dog isn't outside, is he? But
I
yeah,
was also wondering this. I was thinking about this earlier. If this, if this door was left open a little bit, that dog could have walked out on the balcony and been in and out all night.
sure.
I mean, you just never know. The fact that the dog was found supposedly with no blood on it, no kind of visual implication that he was in the room where the stabbing took place. Instantly people are going to run with that, and they're going to be like, well, that proves that he's innocent,
Exactly. I mean, that is the thing, 12. We do not have all the evidence, but
Yeah.
knowing that there is DNA found from a suspect profile one, they linked it to Koberger, and it doesn't matter because a lot of people, it's kind of a misconception because people think that the IgG is linked to the STR forensic match of Brian. That is not true. So they
Right.
got two separate matches because SMP, so SNP, that is used in the forensic genetic genealogy, cannot be tested the same as STR DNA. It's a totally different protocol that they have. So you have you essentially have two matches. You know how freaking strong that is? Because that is what every single juror wants to hear. Because DNA is the golden standard now, right? So
Well, it was inflated as it left off from, because they put so many other people's DNA attached to it.
but see
Magically.
that is the thing is that, and this is pretty crucial, is that SMP from genetic genealogy, it all depends on what kind of database they use. If they use MyHeritage, which is based in Israel, there's no US jurisdiction there, is there?
No.
So
There's
it could be,
not.
they could have been making use out of that, and that wouldn't be necessarily a technicality.
No. I wouldn't have. That's a good catch, Frank. What if it was this bathroom? But I
Now,
can't see which
I think
girl.
I think it might be mistaken because there's a timeline attached to that whimper, right?
Yeah. But also, who the hell would have been going down the stairs and then back up the stairs?
Yeah, you tell me.
I mean, seeing that this is the hand railing with that bloody handprint, maybe it was somebody running down who got attacked and put their handprint on the railing as they ran down the stairs, didn't beat on any of the doors to get help, didn't run to the other room to get help, didn't run downstairs or run out of the house, but they ran down the stairs and up the stairs and back into the room. Tell me how that makes sense.
I do not know.
But wouldn't in your mind, wouldn't that be how it happened?
Yeah, I mean, he didn't float there. Obviously, the guy needed to go up the stairs in order to go down the stairs.
Right.
He didn't teleport there. It's not Star Trek.
Right. So, I mean,
I don't know. Maybe you did a Scotty beam me up. I do not know.
I mean, you know, a lot of these creators and they're people that watch their shows are highly intoxicated on THC, and nothing against THC and truth. And if you're in here, no shade at you. But you know what? That kind of impairs your reality. So it's easier to latch on to certain things, you know? It's like, yeah, that could have happened.
I mean, in all fairness, it is good that people think that way, but don't let it exceed your mind from other possibilities.
Right.
I mean, for example, it's the same way as that footprint is showing right now. How do we know that that is the direction it's showing? Right?
Didn't they say it was a little closer to the door?
Well,
I thought I heard that in the hearing as well.
But see, the thing is that it's just a probable cause. A probable cause needs to be signed by a judge. They need to convince a judge. It doesn't mean that every single piece of evidence is actually in there, because that's not how it works.
Right. I mean, what? They wouldn't need to put all that stuff that they were arguing should have been in there, because it was almost like a blanket search.
Well, if you look at the, so we have the affidavit from Idaho and we have the affidavit from Washington, right? There's something
Right.
really crucial in there because they already found probable cause for that search warrant without the DNA.
Yeah. Don't think Murphy was there. I think her ex had Murphy, and that's why they called him all the time. I don't know. People, all animals know the sound of death and attack. Okay. I believe, and this is just my belief, Melissa, but I don't think this was that kind of breed of dog. Sorry, but when I'm stoned, I can hear the difference in the sound of the dog going down my bank. I knew that'd bring you out of the lurking. My 40-pound pit bull sounds a lot heavier than my 80-pound pit bull. I said nothing against people that get stoned. I'm just saying about certain, theories and stuff.
I just need to say one thing. Da 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 da.
What's that? So I had a previous guest in here, and we were talking about this a little bit. And he had mentioned, which I went back and checked, there was a flag that says, Saturdays are for the girls right here. And they had strung up lights right here. So the fact to say that this room was dark with this sign plus all the other lighting that they left on in the house, I don't believe that it would have been that dark. I think she would have been able to see with the lighting shining this way. At least it would have illuminated his clothing and possibly his bushy eyebrows. I mean, I don't know. That's just my own thought right there. Because it doesn't take a lot of light to see somebody. Now, if we're looking at it like this, that supposedly is the only light that's on is the hall light, which nobody had been, prevalent to that information. See, then it would have been dark like this, but they had other lights on in this living room.
Yeah.
As Tom, a lot
wouldn't be uncommon for wouldn't be uncommon for a common room to have lights on.
Right. And their couch was right there or whatever. Why show a picture of
I don't know, because you have a visual right there.
why show me a picture that's lit up? Okay, see those lights right there on the curtain?
Yeah.
And
Oh yeah, I know what you see. There's a photo out there. If you Google like crime scene images or images Idaho, you can see that cop standing outside. That is, I think that is when it just happened,
Yeah.
and where lights out outside the porch as well.
Yeah, those lights are definitely on.
Mm-hmm.
So they had a lot of Christmas lights hanging up, It was almost Christmas time.
True.
And sometimes college kids use those Christmas lights. I know I did when I was in college as normal like chaser lights or whatever. I mean party lights.
Party lights, I guess.
Yeah. And there's a speaker that got them into so much trouble.
I mean, hell, if I sing, it gets me in trouble all the time too. So, them blasting music. But they got in trouble a couple of times.
Yeah.
That is the burden if you live with other people. Because if you look at that, we have that footage of Kaylee and we have that footage of Sana, right? And they weren't all home at the same time. And anybody who lived at like a dorm room or let alone a house outside the campus like this, it doesn't mean that you live together, that you're really tight together.
Right. And it doesn't mean that you're friends, like friends,
Uh-huh.
And here's some more railings, guys. Here's another rail. Here's
Hella
another.
suspicious.
And then we have the whole enchilada right here, the little banister that we just saw.
It's hella suspicious.
So we don't know if
I
they
think that
found.
railing could have done the murders. Look at the evil stare.
Damn, if Dylan would have known that, a murder was taking place and she saw him right here, she could have just pushed him over the banister and he would have been, just like the movies.
Exactly.
Bethany could have came out of her room, hit him over the head with an umbrella, called the cops. Murder would have been solved.
They would freaking like Home Alone that shit,
had nails on the stairs right there, as he's
paint
coming
cans, paint cans on the front.
No shit. No.
If they would have known this, they would have electrocuted the freaking doorknob or heated it.
Yeah, they would have heated the doorknob. They could have heated up the slider. He would have been He would have been cooked, bro.
I know.
Why show me a picture of a? I don't get it.
I guess it's just for perspective. I don't know why.
Oh, that's what it would have looked like without the good vibe sign or the painting. But there's another vent, as you said. So if there's all those vents, you don't think sound coming from this way would have traveled?
Hey, sound bounces.
Yeah.
But see, that's the confusing part. Is that it could have been that bathroom, but it also could have been one upstairs. So both are feasible.
Yeah. No, I saw something earlier that just cracked me up. They had Maddie coming off these steps right here, and they're trying to say that there's no way that Brian could have been 5'10" or taller because Maddie was like 4'11" stepping off these steps. So he would have, this has been something that's always been said. So if he was up here on these steps, that's an extra 6 inches, so to speak, right? So
that is a fair point.
So she would have had to see him as he stepped down. But they're trying to say that there's no way he was 5'10" as she saw him here. Nowhere is it written that she saw him in the damn living room area. Nowhere.
Exactly.
As I read it, it said she saw him as she went into a frozen shock phase. She identified the man, blah, 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 all that stuff, as he walked out the backslider, towards the backslider, quote unquote. Or that's paraphrased. That's paraphrased, my bad. But you get the picture. So if he was off this step right here, this is about 6 inches or smaller. Okay, so they stole that from somebody else. Somebody had already put this picture in there. So there's Xana, and she's stepping up on that step. So these girls were what, 5'3", 5'4"-ish? Yeah, she would have had to identify that person coming off the steps, in my opinion.
I mean, it's eyewitness testimony, so it's really unreliable and questionable anyways. Plus, she was drunk, plus it was dark, so nobody really gives a shit.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, so pointless.
It's good for a 3-hour live, so,
I know. What did she see? Well, nothing. Bushy eyebrows. Who could it be? Who done it? It's like a game of freaking Clue.
It's like, he didn't have bushy eyebrows. Saeed had bushy eyebrows. It's like, okay, Saeed was walking across the street with some twisted tea, my man. Like, that's Saeed's biggest role in this whole thing. He probably wasn't sure which level he was on.
I'm sure Daddy didn't know what level he was on.
That's about a 4-inch step. 4 inches, 6 inches,
As long as he didn't look like Shaq, it's all good.
Jeff H., wouldn't it be great if we could buy a piece of property and build a house just like 1122 incognito, and then one morning it's back? I wonder how much.
Yeah,
they already go ahead.
I think that they should always do like reconstruction. That is what they do here in the Netherlands as well. They do a lot of crime scene reconstruction with actors. No, really, it is really fascinating.
I believe you. I was laughing at the comment.
Oh,
he meant in man inches.
12 inches, right?
Yeah, 12 inch. That's a 12-inch step right there. In my opinion, her testimony was to establish the timeline that identified the perpetrator. You're probably right. I agree with that.
But it's the same thing with the car. So it was not a 2000. It was an approximate 2011 to 2013. But the FBI guy, that expert, was not specific enough, and therefore the guy needs to be free. The guy was totally off, even though it's in the freaking proximity that he gave. It could have been a freaking 2015. Only you didn't think about it. What do you guys think? I mean, that 2011 to 2013 makes a huge difference for 2 years later? Of course not. They would remodel the entire thing and named it Nara Hyundai Elantra. That's the entire point of car manufacturing. They don't do too much body work on a car that is already existent. It has features because it's known for it.
See, here's the second floor bathroom. There's the door.
It could have been that one.
Wow, you can sit on the toilet, bro.
Jesus.
Jesus. Use the toilet paper. Let me take a virtual dump.
I mean, they did that with the Long Island serial killer. The sinks, everything was gone. And that freaking 12 years later, after catching the guy, I wonder, they probably did the same. Oh, they did do the same thing. Because I remember a report where they got the sinks and everything. Like that.
So I wonder if they you think he did a load of laundry, bro?
Who knows? Within 12 minutes, everything is possible.
Hey, he could have stripped off his dickies, thrown them in the laundry, did a quick cycle, dried them.
What if he did?
Yeah. Dried them, and then all the evidence would have went down the drain.
Literally.
Hey, that one dude, Stephen McDaniel, that crazy guy, you know what I'm talking about? He said that he flushed his clothing that was all bloody. He said he ripped him up and flushed his clothing down the toilet. That's why they could never find his bloody clothing.
Oh,
He
because
was
yeah,
he was that guy that was infatuated with his neighbor. They were both law students, and he was stalking her. And then he like went in her apartment and was like rearranging stuff and all kinds of stuff like that. And it would, he ended up strangling her and then chopping up her body. And then he went on, like there was a reporter there reporting the crime, and he gave a freaking interview to the reporter.
oh,
And
that
it showed,
guy.
yeah,
They found her body or a part of her remains, and then he went on national television.
yeah.
Went on live. Oh yeah, that is such an amazing fragment, my man. You can
And
see
I
that
mean,
guy lose all the hope in his body.
yeah. And when she said, "So what do you think about the part that they found in the dumpster over here?" His face, he was all concerned, and he's like, "Well, she could have went running. She could have done this. She could have done that." And then that reporter asked him, "Well, what do you think about the parcel that they found over here in the dumpster?" The dude literally loses his stuff.
Yeah. It's like
Walks up,
I need to sit down.
I need to sit down. I need to get a breath. Hold on a second.
But you know that, I think Dennis Nielsen, also a famous British serial killer, he did exactly that, and plumbers who went to his house found like all like gooed up stuff. Turned out
Yeah,
it was like flesh. And
yeah.
you hear this guy, you hear this guy like talking to 911. Yeah, hello. I don't know what this is, but it looks like freaking or human hair that is all on here. You know, why would you do that? I mean, that doesn't make sense.
I've also heard a rumor that supposedly a towel was stolen. I don't know how true that is, but it seems like the earliest rumors that we heard are the most reliable because they're talking about them in these hearings. It's really interesting to me.
Well, apparently, according to people, he used a shower curtain.
His or this one? Because this one's missing.
Well, I don't know. Maybe that's why you went inside the house. Maybe you needed this shower curtain. That's a joke, by the way, folks. Just so you know.
Yeah. So do you think that, like, let's be logical here. Do you think he cleaned up at all? Do you think he used this sink for any reason at all?
I think it would make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I remember hearing early on, and I don't want to really get on the Elantra, but I heard early on somebody said, well, it makes sense if he drove up in his and then somebody left theirs and took his, and then he came out and drove off in the one that they left for him, which were almost identical.
Mhm.
He would have had all his DNA in the second car, not the first one.
Yeah. PKC is saying something really interesting because police can actually mislead. Like say a different, but it's in the PCA. So that expert essentially said that. But they can mislead. We'll be stupid.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we're looking for this guy, 2015 white Uno Elantra. He has bushy eyebrows, and apparently he's wearing a shower cap. For example.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I remember hearing. That's where I heard that shit. That psychic said that he stabbed the knife into the apple to wipe it off, and then he took a bite out of the apple and threw it in the trash. That's why they found the apple core in the trash can in Kaylee's room. Like,
What?
okay.
What?
Yeah.
I never heard about that. But the
She
same
was
point
on
about
Sweetie Pilo's page, that medium or whatever her name, Dr. Donna something.
oh yeah, that blamed professor, that TikTok lady.
Oh, this is a different one. Not Dr. Vanna, but Dr. Donna.
No.
Not to be confused with Dr. Vanna. So yeah, if he would have potentially washed up
that would have been the perfect place to do it. I mean, I don't know. Maybe he did flush, but that wouldn't have made sense. I mean, I've always thought if you're gonna wear gloves, why not double glove it? Triple
Exactly.
glove it.
That is what surgeons do also.
You're all bloody from the first layer, strip them off, flush them down the toilet or whatever. Then you have two fresh pairs. You don't have to worry about DNA or anything. I mean, just doesn't, if he was wearing booties on the bottom of his feet, or if he was wearing shoes that were bigger or smaller than what he wears, it also could give a false footprint.
That reminds me of those clown shoes.
Just thinking that, bro. Oh my God, you're on my wavelength right here.
Sorry, my man. You're doing it to me. I can't help it. That is the same thing. If somebody says something, I always think in like musical lyrics. It is so annoying.
So this is where Xana was supposedly found. Their bed was against this wall, apparently. This used to have a bed in here. So she was found there. Ethan was found in an unknown position and location. So why won't they tell us where he was found?
Well, he was found on the bed, and if you look at the PCA establishes that there were no visible stab wounds. So presumably he was underneath the covers.
Okay.
Wouldn't make sense, right?
Yeah. So it would have been his blood that
Yes.
probably bled out into the mattress down this wall.
Yep.
So Xana was found right here, and supposedly she was the last one killed. Man, that's just sad to think about,
Well,
isn't
then
it?
Ethan would be then the last one
Ethan would have been the last one?
if he's laying on the bed.
Why wouldn't you take the guy out first?
He needs to know if there is a guy, because he doesn't know.
Yeah. Yeah, that's just wild to me.
Mm-hmm.
Then why the hell couldn't they get the door open? That's another part.
That's not true.
Huh?
That is not true. That is a fable. Because before the gag order was out, I actually called with Moscow PD, and I talked to this really awesome investigator that was actually at the scene, and he said, "There's no way that," because I was discussing the rumors, right, and kind of talking over it, like making it seem light, and he said there was no
Right.
one blocking the door.
See, True said he wasn't. Ethan was blocking the door from the
Not
inside.
true. Not true.
It was on the floor. Okay.
No, he wasn't. I mean, it's literally in the PCA. Well, not that he was found in the bed, but he was not. It was found with not visible stab wounds. That either means he had clothing on, and Xana was found with visible stab wounds. Same with the girls upstairs.
I mean, it does make sense though why there wouldn't be any blood in the hallways.
It's really easy to be debunked because we have footage of two bloody mattresses. So anybody that says that he wasn't killed on the bed, it's just false.
Yeah.
But that already implies that somebody was killed on that bed.
Yeah, there are bloody mattresses. I've seen those photos. But you get what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of people that say, well, if Xana was this far in the room, there's a reason why there wouldn't be a lot of blood in the damn hallway. You think the killer's going to step in some blood when he's wearing booties? I mean, you can stab someone without stepping in the blood after it starts bleeding out. I mean, I'm sure he was in and out,
Well, see, the thing is that what is really interesting is that I'm really I'm a huge nerd anyway, so I'm like the physical Wikipedia when it comes to forensical stuff. If you stab somebody, is that you always have backspatter. So backspatter, when you retract, you pull the blood out essentially, and it splatters back. Then you extract and interact. So fluid always makes like a triangulation, so it always comes on you. That's why you wear protected clothing if you're gonna do shit,
Right.
which he
So I mean,
presumably did.
and there's a difference. I did a video also because I was intrigued by that shit. It's like most people, when they're using a knife, don't do the stabbing motion that many people think they do. They do the stick motion, like I'm stabbing you like this. So therefore, it's not gonna be slinging blood everywhere like people think in the movies. If you're doing this, I mean, every time you pull it out, if the heart beats, it's gonna spurt some blood everywhere. But if the heart's not beating at that point, it's not gonna go everywhere. It's just gonna go in the body, so to speak, or out the back if he's stabbed all the way through.
True.
Yeah, so I mean that's always been interesting to me is how people say that there wasn't any blood in the hallway. Hunter J said Ethan was half on the bed and half off the bed.
Where did you get that? I mean, it could be true. I don't know, but because it's kind of funny because I talked to a lot of officers before the gag order. Never heard anything about that, unless it's in any paper. I just presume that that's not true
Yeah,
because we do not know, right?
of course we don't. I mean,
I mean,
I was watching.
there's
I
a
was
huge
watching.
difference between actually what is when something a defense attorney says and what a prosecution says. You need to kind of lay weight what they both agree with, because everybody
Right.
has a different interpretation. And when we do assumptions, it becomes dangerous, and then it lands on Reddit, and then Reddit is a fucking own entity on its own, let alone 4chan.
Yeah, just like this hand railing has become the official hand railing of the blood smear.
Exactly.
And it's not, I mean, it could be like somebody said, it was a party house. Somebody could have cut their finger opening a beer thing. I mean,
it is really easy. If it's a blood smear and he was wearing protective gear, do you think that is blood of him? Or do you think it's blood of the victim?
I
Because that
think
would explain why they didn't do further researching.
I think it's blood from somebody else from some other time.
That could be too.
You just never know. Like, this
But
is
then
my opinion. This is my opinion. If they had so many people in that house, you would have had to cross and like all the people that were there. It would have been almost like a process of elimination. Okay, this DNA is this person, this DNA is that person, this DNA is that person. So okay, this is unknown. We don't know whose DNA this is. So it doesn't mean that necessarily there's something nefarious about it. We just don't know who it is. They're not encoded. They're not, in any other database that we can assume that, we can find them that way. So if you're looking at this analytically, wouldn't that person more than likely be a student or a faculty member or something like that? Because like I said the other night, we saw a lot of pictures of older gentlemen in that house. There's been TikToks and stuff like that where there's been older gentlemen in that home. So we don't know whose DNA it was. All we know is it wasn't a criminal DNA.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently,
no, exactly. I mean, and that is why they use, for example, if you have aluminol and if you have amino black, those are both acids, right? Just as DNA is an acid, and it detects protein within the cells of your body, so it can only illuminate blood or protein. If you have amino black, that is for latent footprints. That was being used, but that, for example, that can be questioned too. And you know what? That is really fair if you question everything. Because on the second processing, just as it says in the PCA, that a footprint was found. Now, if it wasn't found on the first processing, then the defense could, for example, argue, was the first, was it contaminated? Is that in fact a footprint of a suspect? We do not know, right? So that is everything that the defense is going to use, which is fair, because it needs to be questioned, then it needs to be answered, because it's only one.
And do people really think that this is the only footprint they found in the whole damn house when they were doing research?
I doubt that. I
You
really
don't think they found a lot of footprints? A lot of times these girls were wearing heels, so unless they were wearing their Vans or their boots or whatever, it's easy to decipher whose shoes are whose.
Mhm.
What size shoe did so and so wear? Oh, she wore a 9. What size shoe did so and so wear? They wore a 7. What
I
size
mean,
shoe did?
and that
Yeah,
is interesting language in the PCA, because it's all legal jargon that we have. Because it says on the second processing that particular shoe print was found. Who says that on the first processing they didn't find any as well? I mean, that's not in the PCA, but just because something is in the PCA doesn't mean that they read it.
yeah. I mean, whatever comes out in the trial, I hope that they do give us some of these answers. You know, I mean, it would be, in my opinion, something that would debunk a lot of the theories out there that are being placed around as far as certain things that, supposedly happened or this was said, that was said. I remember doing a live and I did I had a piece of like it was a portion that was talking about one of the friends of DMs and she was talking about that Dylan was telling other people that she wasn't certain if it was a dream, that it seemed like a dream, but still, if it was a dream, she saw somebody clad in black in that dream with bushy
Yeah.
eyebrows. So what? I mean, whether it was
Was
a
a
dream,
dream or not, it doesn't matter. She saw somebody. That's the only thing that mattered.
right, right. So how could it have been a dream if she looked out the door 4 times or 3 times?
I don't know. Maybe she
I'm
wasn't.
just thankful. I'm just thankful she looked out that door because she could have
Yeah.
been like one of these. I'm not getting involved. I'm gonna keep the door shut. I'm gonna just hide out.
Didn't she also text? Because that is kind of the assumption, right? That she texted meanwhile as well with people.
Yeah. I mean, somebody made a good point the other day that the 8 hour gap or whatever. Um, Somebody stated, well, you know what? With all the shooter drills, the active shooter stuff that we have going on in the schools, these kids have been programmed that in case of any danger or
Stay inside.
unsightly events, you're to hunker down somewhere and wait for police or somebody to come and
Well, you
say,
see,
okay,
the thing is that you don't know that there's a murder happening, right? You don't visually see that. She saw somebody, but it could have been anybody. So people
right,
really expect that stupid 8 hour time lapse that is a really proper argument. Of course not. What do you think, that they are gonna invade everybody's privacy? That they can go just in any room? They go like, oh yeah, shit. Just by I hear some groans, there's apparently a murder. Let's wait 8 hours. That's completely freaking normal.
yeah. I mean that is just beyond me. I cannot. Okay, we'll move on from where Ethan was found. We'll find out eventually. Yeah, both girls were in the bed. AT said she was not credible, but also said she kept repeating the same thing.
So
Any
just
alteration between her statements and LA inserted was determined by LA. And how is that against the law? If you're telling me a story, or not a story, but your recollection, damn, it's dark. Your recollection of what happened. Let's say that you were a store clerk at a store, Frank, and somebody came in and robbed you. And you're traumatized. They hit you over the head or whatever, or you were just scared. Then I'm asking you what went on. And you're trying to recall everything that's going on. And I'm like, okay, so what you just said, to clarify it, you meant this. Yes. So that's a credible statement at that point, right?
from that moment on, yeah. If you don't have
Yeah.
if you're not diagnosed with like any brain trauma or whatever, then it can be questioned,
Right.
But if you're just being knocked out, like what? It's like asking the question, what do you remember when you were knocked out? Nothing.
Right. Right.
Yes, I mean there's a difference. There's a difference in that, and her recalling all this stuff because you could go drift in and out of sleep. I mean, come on. You're
You know,
not you're not you're not dead, you're not deaf,
mhm.
you
And we
know?
do not know what she saw. That's the point.
Yeah.
Do you think that this is just your opinion? Would you be able to hear all that she allegedly heard in this distance, you believe?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Can you elaborate on it?
Because sound travels and it sound bounces through corners. So
If I haven't said hi to you in the chat since you came in, because there's a lot of people that are drifting in here, thank you so much for being here and listening to Frank and I's understanding of this. Salty, welcome. I think I said Latina, thank you for being here. Melissa, I think I said hi to you. And anybody else who's in here that I haven't had a chance to say hi to, welcome, 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 welcome. I believe so also. When they made that statement in court, and this bothers me. These two statements for some reason bother me. Where she said the hearing of the whimpering in the bathroom and the running up and down the stairs. Those two statements right there bother me because
There is no mention of that. And can they say that in court without I mean, I would believe that if there's no evidence of that, you can't discuss stuff like that. That's hearsay, right?
well, hearsay would mean that something is being said that is not in the PCA or in any testimony.
That's what I'm saying. So neither one of those things was in the PCA, was it?
Not that we know of.
That we know of, right? We weren't prevalent to see that somebody ran up the stairs, there was a potential victim, and I'm putting ran. Okay. Went up the stairs and went back down the stairs, who was a potential witness or victim. And then supposedly that Dylan heard somebody whimpering in the bathroom. Well, that whimpering, look how close that bathroom is to their room. It's easy to misguide the bathroom to their room. I mean, and Dana wasn't found that much further inside that room. I
You
mean,
know,
what would you about 3 feet?
exactly, but DM or placement is kind of like spot on, dead set in the middle of both rooms, right? Upstairs and downstairs.
Yeah.
That is what you thought. I mean, it's an assumption, Salty, and you're spot on that one. That's a really good question. Who said bathroom? I guess we would need to. Can you pull up that part? What Ann Taylor said? Because I can put. I can give you the timestamp if you want. Because that is
Do
what
you
she said,
have the
right?
video? 'Cause I don't have any of those videos.
Yeah. Hold on, buddy. I can do it.
Okay.
But that's a really good question. What Salty said, because that would, I guess, it'd be hearsay because she does not have a visual on where that actually happened, and that would be
Yeah,
an assumption, and
I'm
that is
pretty
not
sure
evidence.
she said bathroom. I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure she said she supposedly heard whimpering coming from the bathroom.
and would that be
Yeah,
hearsay because she
right.
lives in that house for I don't know how long. I mean, I know when somebody is in my bathroom. So can you exclude that because of familiarity? I guess you can because yeah, like she said, see, and that is the thing with legal work is really fascinating because it's all about being really good at how you present your evidence, right? So if she says, for example, that she is 100% sure that that she heard whimpering, then she can point out what side she heard it from, if it was from upstairs or downstairs. And everything that is what and I want to point that out
Because
really clear.
that would have to be backed up in the interrogation
Yeah.
as well.
Yes.
You
And I want to
know,
make it really clear that the defense is
Well,
there to create reasonable doubt. So they're not going to put anything out there that is self-incriminating for their client.
Yeah. Because that's what she's doing. She's like juggling all this shit that has nothing, no relevance whatsoever on the murder other than the IgG and the Elantra.
Yeah.
Those two things were of relevance, but as far as everything else, she's just juggling shit like Enan Harsh.
Yeah.
Good point, True. Dogs whimper too. That's a great thought. That's a great point.
Yeah, that's a really good point, actually. But that is the thing. I mean, it's all contextual, right? And it needs to be proven. That context needs to be proven, and that is what is put into evidence. That is what makes these cases also fascinating. I mean, do I know 100% if he did it? I think he did it. I cannot prove it, but I think it. But I'm willing to stay open-minded. But that is only a thing that we can find out on trial. See, I know a lot of stuff that beforehand on the research that I did before Kohlberger got arrested, and now that he got arrested. That doesn't prove anything.
Right.
But still. So I'm willing to stay open-minded.
We're not going to put names out there like that, Melissa. We're not going to call each other names. We're adults.
It's all good. Okay, let me find it for you.
All right. We don't call those types of names in this chat, please.
9 days ago. Then transcripts. Oh no!
I always wondered why they were so interested in this window. I mean, I could see the point of reference. This window on the side of the house, next to the slider. There, in the picture that we've seen, there's a table right here, and then these chairs. There's a lot of police presence around this window, especially dusting and printing.
I know which one you mean. That is that cop like standing in front of there. No, you also have another one where the cars were like intermingled, like a makeshift lock or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is the window with supposedly there's a face, that they see.
Face.
People made a big deal. It was a ghost, the ghost of Xana. But this,
people need to watch more Harry Potter 12.
You think?
Let's see.
I'm going to ask your opinion on this because I've made my opinion known, and nobody's ever said anything about it. I'm going to ask your opinion. I know you're not sensitive and scared to tell me the honest truth.
I'm not sensitive. Oh, that hurts my feelings. Okay, go ahead.
I've always said in my life that I don't believe that this bag right here was from the DoorDash. And the reason I don't believe that is because when they go through the house and they're looking for evidence, they're tagging and bagging. So if this would have been the bag from the DoorDash, it wouldn't be sitting out like this to be contaminated.
You make an excellent point, buddy.
The same thing with this little cup right here. If this would have been from the night and they could have proved it, and if it would have went anywhere, I mean, because who knows, these were even found in the room. They could have been in the kitchen and they just moved them out of the way. It could have been DoorDash from a week ago for all we know. But people have hung on to that like that is the gospel, And I also say that, at that hour, the only thing open that I've heard is Winco.
What?
And also Winco, it's a grocery store like thing. So if the DoorDash was picking anything up, I've changed my mind from a restaurant to maybe the DoorDash picking up some groceries for Xana for the next day, or some kind of beverage or anything,
Did you ever do a comparison? Because that's really interesting what you were saying.
Let me check it out. So,
where did you get it from? From Jack in the Box, right?
Yeah.
Does anybody know what they bring food in a Jack in the Box? I guess that's totally different. But anybody who lives in Idaho and that has knowledge and experience and is fat, not kidding. But if
I
you
mean,
have
anytime we get a DoorDash, I don't get it in the bag like that. Usually they bring it in a bigger bag, and the bigger bag has a label over it.
yeah,
That way that you can tell that that it hasn't been messed with.
I got it here. Someone was crying in the bathroom. If you go here,
Someone was crying in the bathroom.
yes,
Is that what it says?
yes, and go to this timestamp. I mean, you can play the entire thing. It's 28 minutes long, but those has like the most crucial things in it. But timeline 10:36.
Okay.
Look in private chat.
Okay, hold on a second. I'm looking this up. This is I'm not. We have PKC. She's from the area, so.
Oh, look at that. Get your butt up here.
Right, I've tried to get her up here. She's.
Don't be shy.
So is Winko in Moscow? They don't have one in Pullman? See, so whoever said that was wrong because Winko Foods is in Moscow. So she would have ordered DoorDash. Supposedly DoorDash came from Pullman.
Yeah, it came from Pullman.
So if Winko was there, I don't believe that it would have taken that long to get that delivery if it was that close.
It's awesome that you say that. Winko is only 24/7, but well, we know that the DoorDash was delivered by Jack in the Box, and Jack in the Box, from what I remember, opens exactly at 4 for, I guess, the DoorDash deliveries. But that's a really old information, but I do remember that they do deliver at 4. So meaning you can do like a pre-order placement. Because I'm not sure.
See, if it was at Winko, then it wouldn't have taken that damn DoorDash driver that long to get there.
No.
Because there's not one in Pullman. I thought the Winko was in Pullman. And unless these hours have changed, they're open 24 hours a day. Maybe that's where I got it, from Pullman Road.
Do you remember back in the day when that whatchamacallit, that video with Jack the Core and Jack this, Jack that, Jack shit? What's going on? They were talking about that DoorDash driver, and they were I think somebody figured out that it was DoorDash from Jack in the Box. And I think we kind of ruled with that. Because that was not in PCA, I think.
But my thing is, how come that has to be the bag? You know what I'm saying?
Let's see.
Do DoorDash drivers have see, somebody debunked this because I made a mention of this on my, let me go to my community tab.
From what I remember, and I remember dancing in September. Okay, hold on. A DoorDash. Idaho.
Time. Because somebody was saying, no, those were the COVID hours. Now they're open 24 hours a day.
I really can't remember. So
hold on,
I need to
got it.
write that stuff down, my man.
I got a bunch of stuff on my damn page, bro. I believe that if this dude is guilty or not guilty, it's going to be hard for him to have a normal life unless they put him in a witness protection program.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it doesn't really matter if he is guilty or not. At this point, if he gets set free,
See, Latina is saying that DoorDash came forward really early on. That is right. Hold on. I'm remembering something.
Because the hours they have now is open 24 hours. The same thing with delivery.
Didn't
But-
that guy also say, sorry for interrupting you, it was a train of thought. Didn't that guy also say that DoorDash guy was actually on camera and said that he lived near a Coburger at one point, but then moved? I remember that vaguely.
I don't think the DoorDash driver did that. I think it was a rideshare driver.
Oh yeah. It was a rideshare driver. That was it. Okay, thank
Yeah,
you.
because the DoorDash driver had just been incognito.
Yes.
He's been long gone for a while. Never came out. Here's that picture of
that
it.
was him. Thank you.
Thank you, Leslie and Billy. Thank you so much. See, there's that picture right there. Hi, Dr.
Hey, doctor.
See that
Then
picture?
then the other one was from the exterior, right, or the interior through the window.
Yeah, let me see if I can find a DoorDash one. But that was the ghost picture right there. Because you can kind of see a face, but...
Have you ever seen the handprint?
Yeah, that's on the front of the house. Yeah.
It's not that weird because I think it comes when that's summertime video. There's a guy that you can see up top that slides the window.
Yeah.
Summertime.
My mind is, I just have a dirty mind. I thought, well, it could be somebody like, being propped up against the...
Okay, that goes far. But okay. I can see how that happened.
You know what I mean? Like,
you're the guy that sees an elevator and goes like, if those has windows.
oh my God, my girlfriend's gonna watch this and kill me later on. It says another one. I have discussed the bag in the photo could not have been the DoorDash order and got a lot of pushback along the way. Here are the hours from the Jack in the Box and Pullman. So how could DoorDash have delivered at 4 a.m. if they closed the delivery at midnight? So the bag is evidence would not have just sat there out in the open. So this was the hours like they had on their website, like at the beginning of the case. So, and then people were pushing back and said, no, they're open 24 hours. Well, this wasn't the original hours.
From what I remember, that is not true because I looked at that too, and it definitely said 4 a.m.
See, because this says 6 a.m. to 12 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
So,
there we go.
And the one that's on the website now says 24 hours. I need to get off that. My girlfriend's going to kill me, man. Why are you talking like that? I told you about that shit.
That's my fault. I will take the blame for that.
You got to make everything sexual. I tell you, 12 gauge. She calls me 12 when I'm in trouble.
See, there we go. Jack in the Box, state, Boise, Idaho. Well, this isn't Boise, Idaho, but it says 4 a.m. to 4 a.m. So 24/7. But those are indeed, those are also the hours that I remember.
Yeah, now it's 24. So where are you at with this? Okay. 10:36.
Yeah, there we go. If you go to Pullman, Washington, it says 4 to 4. It says Friday, 6 a.m. to 4.
Because I'm trying to get my client off because I believe that he may or may not have committed a crime.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Jeff, I think so too.
The only reason he's here is he got bushy eyebrows. That's the only thing they got against him. Okay. I think your mind's playing with you, Anne. My mind's playing tricks on me. Why does it feel like somebody's watching me?
Did I hit you with the singing bug?
It's at page 399. At page 406, I don't know if this was real or in my mind was just like playing with me. But from what I think I heard, someone was crying in the bathroom. These are definite statements that were not given.
There it was. Did you hear it?
Yeah.
99.
But hold on, that doesn't make sense. She says afterwards, these were not definite statements. Then how are they statements at all if they're not definite?
I don't know.
That's so weird. What a weirdo. And Taylor.
JMB is going to point the finger at Jack in the Box if you keep talking. Well, he just might. The hamburger gobbler did it. I mean, God dang it.
No, he doesn't say that word. See, I'm proud of him right there.
The hamburger gang did it. Okay.
Don't
The
you
diddler.
think,
I don't know if this was real or in my mind was just like playing with me. But from what I think I heard, someone was crying in the bathroom. These are definite statements that were not given to the magistrate. And in fact, I don't know if it's a dream or if it's real.
Okay.
That's at page 399. At page 406, I don't know if this was real or in my mind was just like playing with me. But from what I think I heard, someone was crying in the bathroom.
So can you give me your thought on that, Frank?
Well, from what she thinks she heard, because it's not a visualization, right? It's all perspective of hearing. So that doesn't necessarily say anything, but it is really interesting, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, she's paraphrasing what DM said. I don't know if this is real or not. I'm going to play it one more time.
That's at page 399. At page 406, I don't know if this was real or in my mind was just like playing with me. But from what I think I heard, someone was crying in the bathroom. These are
What I think I heard.
definite statements that were not given to the magistrate and in fact were brushed over. And credibility is really, really important when that person is relied on in the investigation.
But the prosecution defended the surviving roommate's statements to the judge, saying her description of the man she saw in the house wearing all black never changed.
The person was a slim, skinny, lean build. And the person...
Frank, were you in Moscow on that night?
What? No, I wasn't.
Were you slim, skinny build, dressed in black?
Oh,
was taller than she is around 5'8". That's what's important. It was that general description. And that general description did not change.
It's also important to establish the timeline.
It is. It's important to establish the timeline to know when the timeline matched the vehicle surveillance of when a suspect vehicle is coming into the area of
the man she saw roommate's credibility.
There are 2 references to not remembering. A couple of days later, there's the 3rd interview, and there's references to not remembering, being drunk, a statement, I don't know any of it. Like half this stuff, I don't know if it's a dream or if it's real. That's at page 399. At page 406, I don't know if this was...
Okay, let me just tell you what attorneys do.
406?
She is not reading the whole thing. She is not reading the whole
selectively
interview.
Targeting my man.
Or in target, yeah, she's not reading the whole interrogation in context. She's picking out specific sentences that she wants everybody to plant that seed of doubt. That credibility issue right there.
Welcome, you new people that have just came in.
It's real or in my mind was just like playing with me. But from what I think I heard, someone was crying in the bathroom. These are definite statements at page 399. At page 406, I don't know if this was real or in my mind was just like playing with me. But from what I think I heard, someone was crying in the bathroom. These are definite statements that were not given to.
Okay, she said crying.
Somebody said praying in the bathroom. She said crying.
Everyone wants to know why Brian. I want to ask why not Brian. I don't know why not Brian. I mean, honestly, I'm not trying to say one way or the other, but what makes him not okay? Brian Patsy.
Why is
All
he
right.
Patsy?
Well, welcome. We agree to disagree in here, and we're welcome that you're here. I'm glad to get some different opinions in here because, I mean, that's what this whole thing's about. We're adults in here. We can talk it out. No name calling, though, and no bashing the panel, and you'll be all right. Welcome for your thoughts.
It's fine if you bash me. I'm
A
used to it.
suspect vehicle is coming into the area of 1122 and then leaves, as well as text.
Well, hold on. Can you go back? I
communication.
think she said 406 when the whimpering started.
Do what?
Can you go back a few minutes? Go ahead. I think we'll hear it in a few.
Ability.
There are two references to not remembering. A couple of days later, there's a third interview, and there's references to not remembering, being drunk, a statement, I don't know any of it. Like half this stuff. I don't know if it's a dream or if it's real. That's at page 399. At page 406, I don't know if this was real or in my mind was just like playing with me. But from what I think I heard, someone was crying in the bathroom. These are definite statements that were not given to the magistrate and in fact were brushed over. And credibility is really, really important when that person is relied on in the investigation.
But the prosecution defended the surviving roommate's statements to the judge, saying her description of the man she saw in the house wearing all black never changed.
The person was a slim, skinny, lean build. And the person was taller than she is around 5'8".
Okay. If you're looking, there's a confirmation bias. If you're looking for your own bias and it doesn't match what this lady is saying, then automatically you're going to push back anything she says. As we all know, Dylan DM stated in the PCA, he was muscular but not athletically built, or the other way around, 5'10" or taller. She didn't say it verbatim. So therefore her words must mean nothing. To a lot of people, they look at these situations like this and it's a confirmation bias that they're not getting from what's coming. So therefore they push back. And that's what's going on in a lot of this case is a lot of pushback because you latch on to what you latch on to, and that's okay because I'm not the moral compass of YouTube.
But there are also defense witnesses.
That's what's
that they selectively
important.
target.
It was that general description. And that general description did not change.
It's also important to establish the timeline.
It is. It's important to establish the timeline to know when the timeline matched the vehicle surveillance of when a suspect vehicle is coming into the area of 1122 and then leaves, as well as text communications of her relaying what she's observing during the same time period.
Done deal.
So you heard
Done
right
deal.
there, assistant.
That's a done deal.
Tell me what you saw or heard.
Well, what I heard is that what you saw, she relayed down on text. And that's a double confirmation right there. So she is in the minute when she's hearing all that stuff, texting people.
Writing it down. I just saw this. I just heard that.
Exactly.
So the fact that her visual confirmation is a little bit distorted, she was savvy enough to write it down for later reference.
But she texted people.
Yeah.
Because it could have been sheer out of, like, who's that dude in the ski mask? I don't know.
Yeah. Do you know him? Yeah. Y'all please hit the like button or dislike button, whichever one you choose. Subscribe if you haven't already been a subscriber.
Assistant Prosecutor Ashley Jennings said one of the surviving roommates was texting what she was seeing. That is really interesting and had been rumored on social media. Jennings continued.
The defendant argues when an eyewitness states she's not sure anything she saw was real, a magistrate should know about it. Well,
She was full of freaking mushrooms.
the simple
my
answer
man.
is investigators knew what she saw was real. And we know it wasn't a dream because they found the evidence discovered the next morning.
I'm really sorry, 12, but I can't do with this lady.
Those
really.
statements.
Do what?
I can't really do it with these prosecutors. She's like, oh my God. This lady who's speaking now.
I know, man. The one statement I can't stand anybody to say, she said it more than once on the first day. When she said, at the end of the day, stop saying that shit. Like,
stop putting so much emphasis on your last goddamn word.
When did the day officially end in your eyes, though? So that's quite interesting. We were able to say, we did hear it from the horse's mouth, so to speak, that there was crying coming from the bathroom. So that could have been crying coming from Xana's room. You know, she could have interjected the bathroom. There's no, I mean, unless there's evidence to show that there was somebody in the bathroom crying, you know, she could say, you know, it's not a jury trial at this point, so she can say whatever the hell she wants to say. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
I mean, the jury's not there, so she can plant all the doubt she wants. The only person she's talking to is the judge.
Mm-hmm. True. But that was fair, though. But the thing is that, you know, it's kind of, people need to be critical of what is being said. I mean, if you have a defense team and a prosecution is supposed to only tell the facts, while the defense is relating reasonable doubt. You know, that is in their job description.
Right.
And that's what I keep saying. And that's why I'm so passionate about all these cases. And especially addressing people that completely, utterly lie only by one narrative, is that it's unfair. You can't look at a case just from one narrative.
Man, if we could just go back in time and just stand right there with her, we could see what she saw.
You quoting Cher now, buddy?
Move out of the way, Dylan. You're drunk. Let me get the eyewitness testimony here. Move out of the way.
Well, if you can turn back time, then you will find a way.
Yeah, if I could turn back time. Yeah. You know, I was going to present the Zodiac guys tonight. I really was. But after watching 2 movies and researching like a bunch of shit online, it just wore me out. And there's a lot to that.
Ooh, I have some really interesting stuff on the Zodiac, my man. I did a Zodiac episode a few weeks ago.
Well, maybe we can do one together because, I mean, it's quite exhausting. I mean, it's not just as cut and dry as people think. I mean, the guy who they thought did it,
what?
At the end of his life.
Did you see that new documentary they put out on Alan?
Yeah, Alan.
I have questions about that. But if you think about it, this guy So let me pique your interest right here because I'm pretty sure that you will find it interesting. The guy only shot from the passenger side, right? In what profession do you go on a passenger side?
Police.
Exactly. I thought that was freaking amazing that I figured that out.
Yeah, I mean, it was. I thought that the killings, based on what I was looking at the documentary and stuff, and the one on Netflix, it seemed like he wasn't so caught up in the killings. The killing was the release. His with the game playing. Like, you can't catch me. I'm even sure. Go ahead.
What do all those victims have in mind or in common?
College kids.
Also, it's also a car because Paul Stein wasn't a college kid, right? It's always cars.
Right, the taxi driver. Yeah.
Makes me think that might be a traffic cop.
Because that one guy that lived, even though he got shot, he got shot in the knee. He said he thought that was a cop coming up because he did tie a little pin to the revolver. So
Exactly.
I mean, he was ahead of his time. He made a lot.
The guy didn't freaking duct tape a freaking flashlight on his gun. Come on, really? Because that's what he claimed, right, in those letters. That's why he's taking a piss out of SFPD because the guy is a cop himself.
Yeah. I mean, who would have done that though? Like, do you believe that there was kind of like that other killer, the Golden State Killer or whatever? Good night, Nina.
Could be. I mean, Joseph DeAngelo, killer, right?
Was he a cop?
Yeah, he was a cop, and they caught him by IGG, folks, and we don't make a big deal out of that one.
Yeah. I mean, what is it with these cops going rogue and unhinging, man? Like, they just, I'm a cop by day, but at night I'm just gonna go live out my fantasy.
Sorry, that makes me laugh. I'm a cop by day, serial killer by night.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, we'll see you tomorrow. We'll see you tomorrow. All right. Takes off his cop uniform, puts on his Dickie suit, puts on his gloves and his combat boots, and heads out.
Oh God, you're a blast, man. I like to deep dive into cases, right? So what I like to do is when I cover a case, because I have my own advocating organization as well. So what I do when I do a lot of crime scene reconstructions myself for old cases that I get, and I get quite a lot, is when I look at a crime scene, I want to know like the entire psychology behind it, so the minute details. So I look at what kind of wounds somebody have. If it is, for example, wounds on the head, if somebody is being covered by something, that usually means like they have a personal connection, and I don't want to see. It's called an undoing. When I have a case here in the Netherlands that happened in 2017, a guy was found in the back of his car, heavily mutilated, and an object or a sweater was on his head. So when your face is already really deformed from the front, it means that that person knows you, because that's why it's called a frontal attack, because of that personal connection.
Yeah.
There's so much emotional rage. And it's different when you attack, for example, for somebody from the back, because it's less personal, right? So I like to look at all those kinds of things, and I like to dissect literally everything. Now, in the Zodiac, we have a guy that already shot people. So by that definition, I already know just by shooting that the weapon is already distant. So this individual either used the cars because he didn't want people to escape because it's so narrow. It means that it's in a controlled environment. And he shot at least the ladies several times.
Yeah.
And the gentleman, not so much. Now, there's one, I think it was the second attack of that pair that the guy survived. And I think I know why. It's because he saw that lady, and the bullets that penetrated the lady actually hit. I'm not sure what his name is again. doesn't matter. But I think
Yeah.
those are also the wounds that gentleman got. That's why he survived. Now, if he was lingering, I mean, who lingers in a lover's lane hoping to find people there? You don't do that. You do know that if you ride along something or go ride somewhere and actually have an observant point where you usually go, like a traffic cop.
I get your point. And I agree. I mean, he had scoped these places out methodically. It wasn't like they were random places. So did they have any kind of correspondence to any kind of memory in his own life that he had unpleasant situations happen there, and he was kind of revenge against the people he found there, kind of like the two that he found at that at the Brazoria Park or whatever, where he tied him up, and he didn't shoot him. He didn't shoot him. He stabbed the guy and then stabbed the girl.
The guy also survived, right?
I think so. Yeah, he did.
So you can already see by the wounds that are being permitted, for example, versus female versus male. I did an entire calculation on that. I think the female victims were shot at least 6 times. And then that female was stabbed 9 times.
Yeah, there were. I mean, it was overkill on some of them, like especially that one female in the car. I was wondering if that person knew her because it looked like the look on her face in the movie, and I know it's a movie, but she was looking like it was a jealous boyfriend that caught her cheating out there.
Now, that is an interesting thing that you say, because I also explained this in my my part, is that you have this entire psychology, and it's freaking beautiful if you understand it, and it's freaking fascinating with criminal psychology. Is that, for example, if you have a burglary going on, right, and you have somebody with a ski mask, what is the purpose of that ski mask? It's to hide your identity, right? So if you already are premeditated on killing somebody, what is the purpose of said ski mask if you're doing it in the middle of the night?
Right. It's to hide your identity.
And that's the same that guy did in the middle of the day. Maybe he wanted that guy to survive, because that's not where all the rage was at. And if you think about it, maybe somebody was going through a bad divorce. Just saying.
Yeah, you never know. While we're on this, let's go ahead and let me pull up this video a little bit and give the audience a little bit of insight on what we're talking about, because I like this video. I never thought of a divorce. That makes a lot of sense there.
The shadow street across from the car and had been staring in its direction. A nearby resident reported hearing, quote, an awful scream between 10:15 p.m. and 10:45 p.m. At the crime scene, the police were left with desperately little evidence. A military-style shoe print, and curiously, a wristwatch presumed to have belonged to the killer. Almost exactly a month after the murder, Riverside Police Department and Riverside Press Enterprise received identical letters titled The Confession. In the letter, the author detailed the events of Bates' murder, calling it a game. The police could identify the type of typewriter that was most likely used for the letter. And there was a notable misspelling of victim, but other than that, the letter contained very little that would aid in the investigation.
So the dude was a school teacher, the one that they assumed was the killer. What would be the purpose of the letters, in your opinion?
To bloat.
But what's the difference between typing it out and handwriting it? There had to be a significance to that.
Well, there are some killers that have been caught just by typewriters, because not every typewriter is the same. Every typewriter has a defunct.
Right.
Could have just been what was the era that has happened?
The 60s.
Yeah, that makes sense. So a typewriter was just a regular thing that you would use right back in the 60s.
Yeah, and he sent a...
In December 1966, under one of the desktops in the campus library, a janitor discovered a poem titled Sick of Living, Unwilling to Die. Whether the killer penned this poem is uncertain. Then,
Dang, we're seeing a lot of that self-proclaimed mental state in a lot of these killers. You notice that? That could have been Koberger's little manifesto thing that he wrote about his mindset. Felt like a bag of flesh or whatever he said, a bag of meat, whatever.
I mean,
Yeah, 1967.
exactly 6 months after Bates's murder, the police, Press Enterprise, and Joseph Bates all received similar letters. Bates had to die. There will be more. The letters were signed off with a symbol resembling a Z and carried 2 4-cent stamps, which was more postage than
this
required.
is Sherry Joe Bates. Okay.
Hey, can you imagine if YouTube would have been around back then? I solved the crime. It was a kindergartner. Look at the writing.
Whether these letters were penned by the same hand that wrote the confession letter and the desktop poem was a matter of debate, but that was accepted to be the case. However, in April 2016, Riverside Police received another letter. The author admitted to writing the Bates had to die letters as a quote, sick joke, while he was a quote, troubled teen. The author denied being Bates' killer and was officially ruled out as a suspect shortly after. It is presumed that the confession letter is authentic and from the killer, while the authenticity of the poem remains debated. The case remains open and unsolved. Half a decade later, Bates' murder would again resurface with ties to one of the most notorious serial killers in American history.
You know one thing for certain, Frank? These serial killers had it made back then, bro. There was no camera.
There's a really good book by I can't remember his name, but it was with Richard Cunningham. You know, the guy that killed in New York. Did you know that Richard Cunningham and there was another serial killer in New York? They were both co-workers. What's his face? What was that show again? I was gonna say the Dateline killer, but everybody in Dateline is a killer. Hold on, Richard Cunningham, and co-workers. Rodney Alcana, is that right? Yeah, it is right. So, co-workers, Rodney.
So here's the two. Here's the two that he shot. This one he shot in the back of the ear, I think, and this is the girl that he shot multiple times.
What is really interesting is that, hold on, let me do that actually for you because I still have it here somewhere.
Okay. Somebody said the dating game killer.
Yeah, the dating lane. There we go. Thank you.
Dating game killer. Okay.
But they were both co-workers. Like, you know how wild that is?
That is.
I thought yeah, I know, right? Like, it might be, I don't know what they sniffed, like freaking embalmment fluid or something.
I like to kill. You want to go with me tonight? Let's go hunting.
Now, this is what I found really interesting. So hold on, Zodiac killer, and so we go to the victims. So I usually start off really basic. So Zodiac killer victims. So Betty Lou Jensen, 16, and David Faraday, 17, shot and killed December 20th. So I already skipped that. So I just want to know Betty Lou Jensen and David Faraday. So then after that, Darlene Ferrin and Michael McGee, whatever, Michael. So after that, it was Brian Hartnell and Cecilia Shepard. And then after that, you had Paul Stein. Now, if I were to dissect that, you know, this is freaking fascinating, at least for me. So I wanted to know who was the driver. So who was the driver of each car? So let me see. Jensen and Faraday. David Faraday was the driver of the Rambler station wagon.
Okay.
And then on then the next one is Farron and Magoo. was Darlene Farron.
So this is the guy that got shot in the knee
Yes.
and attempted to get in the back seat, and then he unloaded on her, right?
Yes.
Okay. And then the other one was where the guy with the passenger, the girl got out to run and he shot her in the back.
Bingo. Oh, that was the first one. So Darlene Farron was the one that ran.
Okay.
Now, how many? So now we know that, right? So David Faraday, the first guy, was driving, and Darlene Farron was the first one. Now, what is the difference between those two killings? Because serial killers have patterns, right?
Right.
The pattern here is the females. So how many times did they get shot?
I
So
thought the first one, the female got shot like what, 6 times, 7 times?
Let me see. David Faraday was shot once in the head at close range. Betty Lou Jensen shot 5 times in the back as she tried to run away. Michael McGee shot 4 times but survived. Darlene Farron shot 5 times and later died. Paul Stein was shot in the head at point blank range. So you have all these males shot lesser times than the females. I find that really interesting.
So also, if it would have been a firearm that had more than 6 shots, then they would have had more shots in them, right?
Well, he mentioned what caliber he used, so I searched that, and I think it had a capacity of a 9 or 12. I am not sure.
I thought it was a revolver for some reason. I don't know why. Let me play a little bit more of this.
Day and Betty Lou Jensen were out on their first date. After a quick visit to a friend, the couple set off towards a well-known lover's lane. At about 10:15 p.m., Faraday parked his mother's Rambler on a gravel turnout off Lake Herman Road. At approximately 11:20 p.m., Stella Medeiros, on her way to pick up her 13-year-old son from a show, drove past the turnoff. As the area was illuminated by headlights, she observed a boy laying beside the car, almost as if he had fallen out of the Rambler. Then she spotted the girl laying on her side, facing the road. Medeiros sped off towards Benicia to report the incident, where she encountered a police car, whom she informed. Pierre Bedeau and his partner Steve Armetta were the first to arrive on the scene. Shortly after, they were joined by deputies Wayne Waterman and Russell Butterbach. Pierre Bedeau recalled, "I was overwhelmed. It was a very violent scene." David Faraday had been shot in the head once and appeared to be breathing, so he was rushed off to the hospital, where he was declared dead on arrival. Betty Jensen had been shot in the back 5 times, presumably fleeing from the perpetrator. She was pronounced dead at the scene. The case was assigned to Detective Sergeant Les Lundblad, who arrived at the scene at around midnight. There was little evidence. They recovered 10 bullet casings. 2 of the bullets were found to have hit the Rambler. The other 2 shots were unaccounted for. While the physical evidence was severely lacking, some witness accounts were quite intriguing. Between 9:30 and 10 p.m. on the same night, William Crow and his girlfriend had parked at the same location. While they were originally alone, a blue car, possibly a Valiant, suddenly stopped and backed up towards them. Sensing danger, Crow pulled out of the turnoff and headed towards Benicia, with the unknown car seemingly in pursuit. When Crow turned off towards Benicia, the unknown car went straight on. According to the report, the vehicle contained 2 white males. Crow would later contradict this, clarifying, "I could not see the passenger seat, but the driver was a man with short hair and glasses. I did not see his specific facial features." He also
See, I didn't know that.
It's interesting.
Did you know that?
I did not.
Wow.
clarified, "I never told the sheriff who interviewed me that the car I encountered was a Valiant. In the years that have passed, I've described the car as a 4-door, light-colored Chevy. This is significant if we take Bingo Wesh's account into consideration. Wesher was checking on his sheep east of the pumping station at approximately 10 p.m. Here, Wesher observed a white Chevrolet Impala parked at the turnout. At the bottom of the hill, Wesher also observed a red pickup truck. This truck was that of two hunters, Robert Connolly and Frank Gasser, who had been in the area. When they arrived at around 9 p.m., they observed a white four-door Chevrolet Impala parked at the same location. Bingo Wisher observed an identical car. Whether this was the same car that William
He observed a white Hyundai Elantra.
Crow had seen remains uncertain. When the hunters drove past the turnout between 11 p.m. and 11:15 p.m., they observed the lone rambler belonging to Faraday. The two hunters were also spotted by Peggy and Homer Yore. At approximately 11 p.m., the two were checking on a construction site when Mr. Yore worked. As they passed the turnoff to the pump station, they spotted the lone rambler belonging to Faraday, who was sitting in the driver's seat while Jensen rested her head on his shoulder. The Yores drove to the bottom of the hill, where they turned into Marshall Ranch to turn back to Benicia. Here, the Yores spotted the two hunters beside their pickup truck.
See, Frank, I don't know about you, but I remember them describing this road as not being highly traveled. They made it sound like it was in the middle of nowhere. There wasn't a lot of traffic out there. That's why a lot of people went out there and did that, you know.
Mhm.
So I
And
don't know.
this was definitely somebody that knew the road like that, because if he was watching, I
Yeah.
mean, anybody that watched like a cop show back in the day,
Yeah.
it looks something like that. Reminds me of the Dukes of Hazzard. Like they come out of nowhere. Like,
Right.
I'm the Roscoe Peak Your Tree. And this is Shaft.
They returned to the turnout. They again observed the lone rambler facing to the east, standing to the left of the gate. At approximately 11:20 p.m., James Owen passed the turnout and recalled seeing the rambler driven by Faraday with another vehicle parked around 3 to 10 feet to its right. He could unfortunately not describe the unknown vehicle. Owen later elaborated on his statement, claiming that approximately a quarter of a mile past the scene, he heard what he thought was a gunshot. Judging by the little evidence they had, the events are believed to have unfolded like this. At around 11:15 to 11:20 p.m., it is believed that the killer parked next to the victims before approaching them with a .22 caliber handgun. The couple was ordered to exit the car through the passenger side door. Jensen exited the car first, with Faraday following. Faraday was presumably shot while exiting the car, which caused Jensen to flee and the killer to open fire. Her body was found 10 feet away from the car. In the investigation that followed, it was revealed that Faraday was supposedly threatened by an individual whom he wanted to turn in for pushing grass, or marijuana. It was also revealed that a teenager known as Ricky had made continuous advances towards Jensen and even threatened to harm Faraday. However, Ricky had been home with his sister and mother the evening of the shooting and was ruled out as a potential suspect. The individual who threatened Faraday about marijuana was never found. Other interviews.
He was pushing grass.
I hear a lot of speculations, my man.
Yeah. Marijuana dealer.
Notwithstanding, Detective
Apparently, this
Lindblad and his
individual,
team were
whoever
left puzzled.
made this,
That a
apparently also
frustrating
knows
lack of
what
evidence.
side they got shot from.
Do what?
Apparently, the guy, whoever made this, apparently also knows what side they got shot at.
Yeah.
While the white Chevrolet Impala was a solid lead, neither the vehicle nor the driver thereof ever came forward. The killer had disappeared into the darkness of the night, down Lake Herman Road. Six and a half kilometers to the northwest, just before midnight on the 4th of July, 1969, Michael Reno Majot and Darlene Elizabeth Farron pulled into the Blue Rock Springs Park parking lot. Shortly thereafter, a vehicle, which Majot thought to be a brown Chevrolet Corvette, pulled up to the couple's left and stood there for a minute or so before driving off again. Majot asked Farron whether she knew who the person was, to which she replied, "Oh, never mind." About 5 minutes later, the same vehicle returned, this time parking about 10 feet behind them. The lone driver exited the car carrying what Majot described as a high-powered flashlight. and armed with a 9mm semi-automatic
Act
handgun.
like
The unknown man
9mm, bro.
that was 9 minutes.
walked up to the passenger side window and fired 5 shots at the couple, hitting both Migeot and Farron. The attacker seemingly believed the couple to be dead and started moving back towards his vehicle. But after hearing Migeot yell, he returned to the couple's car and shot each victim another 2 times, before returning to his vehicle and fleeing.
So, Frank, do you think the distance, like, look at that right there. You think the distance would, like, why didn't he go around and shoot her from the driver's side? That would have been an easier shot. He's shooting her.
I
from
seriously
across-
question the integrity of this fancy piece of artwork.
Yeah. I mean, I was just thinking that right now. Like, why would he? I mean, supposedly shot them from the driver's or the passenger side. If he was going
Presume
to
that they are dead.
yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. That's why I'm saying I'm questioning this fancy piece of artwork.
He did stab 2 other ones that are coming up. He did tie their hands and legs together and stabbed them
At
both.
approximately 12:02 a.m., Migeot got the attention of 3 teenagers who had come by. They promptly set off to get help. Officer Hoffman was the first at the scene at around 12:13 a.m. Migeot had left the vehicle and was sitting at the right rear wheel when Hoffman arrived, while Farron was still in the driver's seat. Shortly thereafter, he was joined by Officer Conway and Officer Clark. The responding officers attempted to aid the 2 victims while they awaited the ambulance. The ambulance eventually arrived and set off towards Kaiser Hospital with the 2 victims. Tragically, Darlene Farron was pronounced dead on arrival at 12:38 a.m. Migeot would ultimately survive this attack. Approximately 2 minutes later, at 12:40 a.m., Nancy Slover at the Vallejo Police Department received a chilling call. I want to report a double murder. If you go 1 mile east on Columbus Parkway to the public park, you will find the kids in a brown car. They were shot with a 9mm Luger. I also killed those kids last year. Goodbye. The call was tracked, and it was found that it originated from a payphone located at the corner of Springs Road and Tuolumne Street.
Hey, Frank, there's a sub just trying to add you. Okay.
And where?
Her name's Aurora. Where'd she go? Aurora Rain 1212. She's trying to add you, but she can't find your page or something like that. Can you go subscribe to her or something?
Oh, sure.
Hey, AR, thank you for being here, buddy.
When the police eventually arrived at the payphone, the killer had already disappeared. At 2:35 a.m., Dean Farron, Darlene's husband, and his employer Bill Lee arrived at the police station after receiving information that Darlene had been shot. Both men relayed that while they were waiting for Darlene, and prior to their knowledge of the shooting, Dean's residence received 2 phone calls. There was no answer on the other side of the line. Arthur and Mildred Farron, Dean's parents, reported that they had also received a call at about 1:30 a.m. While the person on the other side of the line said nothing, they could hear heavy breathing over the line. This was before Darlene's murder had become public knowledge. This entertains the possibility that the unknown caller might have been the killer, and they might have known Darlene Farron. On a personal note, while researching this case, I stumbled upon this part. A Miss Peggy Yore relayed information to the police about a possible suspect. This is, if you recall, the same Peggy Yore who was at the scene on the same night as the Lake Herman Road murders. Whether this was in response to the caller referring to the murder in his phone call, her close residence to both attacks, or whether she gave this information without any prompt is uncertain. While I'm not suggesting anything, I find it interesting that, apart from the murderer themselves and the detectives, this is the only person who appears in 2 separate police reports. Now, back to
How weird is that, Frank?
So you got it from the police reports. Okay, awesome. Then it's reliable. Cool.
The video. The case was assigned to Detective Sergeant Jack Mullinex. The police were faced with an attack on a seemingly random couple, with minimal evidence. But the investigation would reveal some interesting details. The most intriguing of these was the account from a babysitter. She recalls that one night in February or March of that year, while she was babysitting for Darlene Ferrin and her husband Dean, she observed a middle-aged man sitting in a white American-made sedan, watching the apartment. The unidentified man watched for several hours before driving off. When she mentioned this to Darlene, she said something to the effect, "I guess he's checking up on me again. I heard he was back from out of state. He doesn't want anyone to know what I saw him do. I saw him murder someone." The babysitter could not recall the name Darlene gave, but she did recall that it was short and somewhat common. Whether this was the same white sedan that was seen during the Lake Herman Road murders remains unclear. Michael Majot was later interviewed in hospital, describing the...
See, there's so much freaking intertwining in this. It's hard to do this live, like, by yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you watch this whole thing all the way through, you get copyrighted.
Did you hear about the two planes that just collided? Apparently with a Black Hawk in Washington, D.C.?
No.
Just hearing about it. It happened like a few minutes ago.
Really? We'll get back to the Zodiac, folks. I'm telling you, eventually Frank and I will get together and we'll even use his stuff and we'll get on this. Let's go check out that breaking news. If it's on here.
75 dead, apparently.
Do you got a link?
Yeah, I just sent it to you.
Oh, it's in the private chat? Okay.
Yes.
Breaking news from 12 Gauge and Frank. Here we are, half past the hour. I want to break in from this televised show to let you know that that's some live news coming on.
Account for victims in a garage at the Northwell House. At this point, I do not. I will get it for you. I'm set up a few hundred feet away from the house.
So we have the scanner on. Give me a moment here. But again, a plane has crashed in Washington, D.C. near Reagan Airport after colliding with a helicopter, reportedly. Wow. So I am just getting on the air right now. Sorry. I need a second to kind of get organized here. We have the scanner on. You are seeing a helicopter fly around above. There's the airport right there. You're seeing a U.S. Park Police helicopter fly around
as well.
There. Again, we have the scanner on. Oh, let me put something else on the screen. Thanks for your patience.
Someone call out. In case anybody has, command is set up on the south side of 33 EMAS.
I just sent you the Twitter link where they showed that footage where it happens.
They've talked about bodies on the scanner.
Yeah, that'd probably be better. You can tell I use the private chat a lot, can't you, Frank?
I can. So if you play that,
you're like, damn it, 12 Gauge, look in the fucking private chat.
That's all good. Press play, buddy. There you go. You see it? They're closing in.
Oh man.
Yeah, Black Hawk. That's right.
Wow.
Somebody was texting and flying. I'm telling you.
Yeah, you can see that plane approaching it, and then bam, that. Wow. See there's the plane with the lights.
Let's see, around 60 onboard American Eagle flight from Wichita, Kansas, preparing to land in DC. Black Hawk comes in and hits the plane from the left-hand side. The Twitter video apparently shows that. And unknown how many on board Black Hawk. Damn.
Wow.
Have you ever flown 12 gauge?
Yes.
I have not.
Yes,
Doesn't make it any better now.
Yes, I have. I don't know, man. It's a quicker way to get around, but they say automobile accidents are more prevalent than airplanes falling from the sky or crashing.
Well, I'd rather don't get in an accident than both.
I'm with you. I mean, taking off in an airplane is unnerving. If you've never flown, it's like I don't know how you are, Frank, but I'm a person that likes to be in control of everything around me. So losing that sense of power as you're rising up into the air, it's quite unnerving. And landing, you know.
I'd rather land too, but safely.
Yeah. Well, I was coming into Denver, I think, and I looked outside. I saw these flames coming from the motors. You know, the motors flames were coming, and I was freaking out. I was like, they're like, no, that's what it's supposed to do. Like, all right, whatever.
Firefly is saying takeoff is the best part. Well, I thought landing was the best part, but okay, sure. Whatever floats your boat, sister.
Nina, did you really just type that? She said, Gage, a control freak? No way. No, not at all. Southwest Firefly, thank you for being back in here. I don't know. It's been a while. I really enjoyed you in our chats before. I'm glad that you gave us another try. Thank you for being back. Appreciate that. Hey, guys. Happy hump day.
If I had something
Happy
else to
hump
bring
day.
against.
Happy hump day to you. Yeah, she had a big long name before. It wasn't just Bullets and Bling. I think it was something like I don't know. There was something before the Bullets, and then it was Bling. So it was a big old long name. She shortened it. So is there anything else you want to discuss while you're up here, Frank? Or are you good for tonight?
I'm good, my man.
Hey, man, I really appreciate you being up here, bro. You gave some good insight, and it's always a pleasure, you know. Doesn't always have to be so serious, you know. You bring some comedic aspect to it. I like that, you know.
Thank you.
Okay, it was Beauty and Brawn, Bullets and Bling. That's what it was. It was a big old long name.
A lovely name, though.
Frank, thank you for amazing work and your
Thank
time.
you guys. Until the next one. Peace.
All right, well, we're gonna close it out. Those of you that showed in a little late, maybe you can watch this on replay. We do have a long conversation about a lot of things. So y'all have a wonderful night. Enjoy the rest of your week. Y'all be safe out there. Be vigilant. Take care of yourself and your families. You know, this world is really, really thrown off right now. So, like I say, keep your head on a swivel. You just never know. We are all just one situation away from a lot of things. So always be vigilant. What I always say, Maestro, cue that music. Thank you for reminding me of that, Leslie. Yes, I want to send out a prayer to Daniel and the situations he's dealing with. I don't know everything that's going on with him, but Nina shared some pictures with me, and it looked pretty vicious. So you guys hold up Daniel from Drunk Turkey Show up in your prayers. He seems to be going through a little bit of an issue. Daniel, we're thinking about you. Hang in there, brother. Hope to see you again soon. Now back to the closing.